Hello my little beeps, welcome back. My name is Erin McGuire, for those of you who don't know because you're new, and I'm coming at you from KELOWNA, BC, as I will be for the rest of this year, at least we think, who knows these days. So welcome to my channel, The Art, Science, Aesthetic, where we talk about a scientific paper that interests me. And last week we started talking about tattoos, and it was a long review paper, a lot of super interesting new facts that a lot of you haven't heard before. So we're continuing on with that because I promised you no more 40-minute videos. Promised myself too, actually. So if you like chattering about new and interesting science and you like watching me make a fool of myself putting on new makeup trends, then you're in the right place. So hit the like and subscribe buttons and let's have a bit of a laugh together, and we'll pick up where we left off last week with the makeup look.
So this paper does say that even though like tattoos are meant to be localized to one spot, that the pigments do travel to the lymph nodes. So the way tattoos work, the way I understand it, is that immune cells go there, they eat up the ink, and they just kind of stay there because they get like bloated and sick on it. That's very scientific, but they just sort of stay there in that spot. However, they found that the pigments don't just stay in that spot, that they do travel back into the lymph nodes. So your lymph nodes are the parts of your body that house your immune system. If you get cancers that go into your lymph nodes, that means they can circulate the whole body. So you really don't want anything gumming up your lymph nodes. Yeah, a lot of your immune cells are in there and they hang out in there. So people have thought they had cancer, and it wasn't. It was just tattoo ink in there. So they have these big black lymph nodes coming out. Like, you don't want to have your lymph nodes taken out. They're important. But this is what's been happening. They're located in certain spots. So they're in your armpits, so the axillary ones, they're right here. So when you catch a flu or whatever, sometimes you'll have sensitivity. You have lymph nodes here. You have them behind your knees and in your groin area. So like, try and avoid getting a tattoo right over top of those areas. What's interesting to note about the immune response that happens when you're getting tattooed is that it's not all just from the ink. Some of it is from the needle. So it's just from the injury of the needle. It's not just from the immune response. So they have difficulty separating those two out because there's so many moving parts going on when you get a tattoo. Just to make things more confusing for you, you're welcome. They looked at red ink and black ink, how much was put into the skin and how much was cleared. Like how much ink was removed by like the body from that spot. And like certain studies that they looked at, the clearance rate was 87 to 99% of what was put in the skin. So that's going somewhere. It's going to your lymph nodes. It's hanging out. Actually, there's more in here about where it does go, which is quite alarming. The next study that they dive into and kind of mention has to do with UV radiation and the color of pigment that was used. Ooh. I feel like we should do a bit more with this makeup. I feel like we could do something pretty. All right, found one of my old MAC pigments, and I'm just gonna go to town here. What they found, when black pigments were exposed to UV radiation, that like all of these mice that were treated, they're gonna get cancer. They say like they've done it in a certain way that they're all gonna get cancer, and they treated them with different pigments. And the ones that were treated with black pigment, their cancer was delayed by 50 days. So it's saying here like it kind of protected them from getting cancer, which is kind of cool. And then it goes on to say that the mice that were tattooed with the red ink, that it enhanced tumor growth. So maybe don't get all red ink tattoos, especially if they're going to be in the light. Okay, I don't like that. Or do I? Ooh, let's keep going. Blendy blend. Maybe not an everyday look, but we're, like I said, we're playing. Oh, I just wanted to make a note. These are not talking as much about organic tattooing. So if you know someone who uses, who does tattooing and it's organic, like these are talking about the harsh chemical ones. So a lot of like tattooed eyeliner and whatnot. In here it actually talks, it's like a lot of the organic ones, they do degrade. So like that's all right, seems like. What's interesting to note also is like one of the huge reasons for the depositing of metals is actually not in the tattoo pigment. It's actually in the needle itself. So there's no regulation on anything. That's one of the hugest things about the tattoos industry, that is that nothing is regulated in regards to like training, the ink that's used, the needles that are used. It's pretty much just a free-for-all, which is pretty scary. Actually, maybe this will all fit into one and I'll just end up with like really wonk makeup. I have some cool colors. What do you think? More colors? I think we should do more colors. I think so. Blue. Let's keep that for Halloween. Since we're talking about red and black, let's toss some red in there. I think that'll be good. We know that good is relative at this point. Oh, wow. Oh, that is red. Holy Toledo. Like, gonna talk to you about red tattoo ink. Where is my... Don't worry, you guys. I found it. Oh, I'm scared. Ooh. Oh, that is so pretty. Oh, man. I hecked it up already. I'm gonna put on some non-permanent pigments while I talk to you about permanent red pigments. You know, I didn't think I was gonna be able to complete this video today, but luckily I have a lot of work I'm supposed to do. So I will definitely get a steadier hand at this. It does take a while. So one of the things that's really interesting is that they did a pigment patch test, which is just like they took the pigments and injected it and it didn't cause any reaction. And yet when they went ahead and they tattooed it in, this red ink, the individual had a reaction to it. And I think that really highlights like how incredibly complex and difficult it is to address the issues of tattooing and the safety of it. Because the second that you pierce the skin, you have the cross reaction of your immune system, as well as the metals that are going in, that like the metals actually come off the needle as they're piercing the skin. So you have all of those issues to deal with as well. How do we fix this, guys? I feel like I'm playing with my food and there's no one here to tell me not to. As it should be. I am an adult, kinda. Like, I feel like it would have been great if I had stopped there, and yet I didn't. So. Okay, like, hey, that's not bad. Alrighty, what do we do? Do we keep gilding the lily here? Yes. I'm trying to experiment here. My regular eyeliner and try and fix that line. It's a little sharper. So I'm hoping that didn't come off as like too preachy or anything. All that I was really hoping it would do was to, you know, shed some light and some awareness that nobody really knows what they're doing. Let me rephrase. There's no real regulation when it comes to tattooings. So you kind of just have to trust your artist and your shop, and there's no way to know how you're going to react to it, how your body's going to absorb it, because it's so incredibly complex. And one of the reasons why there's not a lot of research into it is because it's an optional aesthetic practice. Ooh. All right, so I feel like this color is nice, but it wouldn't be me if I didn't try a second lip color. What do you think? No. We'll save the blood red for a blood red day. If you want to see a certain style done, I mean, I have a lot of stuff. I even have rhinestones here that, you know, didn't make it today. Ooh, maybe we could do a little sneak peek of the rhinestones. I don't even think you can see the rhinestones. There's a couple of them.
So thanks so much for joining this week. and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Just a side note though, I did notice that the combination of the mixing liquid and the MAC pigment definitely dried out my eyelids, so I would add a bit of hydrating primer before I started next time. Other than that, it was pretty fun and something to build off for next week, so I will see you then. Just hit like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all next week.